What a brilliant shine!
They could get you rest now. You could get you rest.
When we come, everybody's gonna get thrown out. Hey!
We are warriors, Soca Warriors. We are warriors, Soca Warriors. We are the children. We are the nation of the Soca Warriors. Soca Warriors. Sing! We are warriors. Yes! Soca Warriors. Yes! We are warriors. Yes! Soca Warriors. We are the children. We are the nation of the Soca Warriors. Hey, we might be the only side who's celebrate a draw, so you know, imagine draw game. The coach is cussing people.
For an enjoy, let me know my team is ready to march and execute.
Yeah.
On the field, the fire light up the boots. Strikers on the alert to spring loose.
Well, not strikers so much, right?
The goal and shoot.
We are warriors, Soca Warriors. We are warriors, Soca Warriors. We are the children. We are the nation of the Soca Warriors. Soca Warriors. We are warriors, Soca Warriors. We are warriors, Soca Warriors. We are the children. We are the nation of the Soca Warriors. Hey, welcome to episode 58 of the Corey Shepherd podcast. Boy, I'm feeling good. Up full. All I study Italy and England and all them said are enslavers. Let me study my little side. Boy, that's my side, you know. Imagine, them men 400 years of slavery. Man come here and say they rediscover the place. I must pawn them fellas jersey and back them.
Be strong, be supporting no matter the outcome. Let me know, ready to battle. Yes, we come to fight.
Yes.
90 minutes of red, black and white.
Red, black and white, not green, blue and... What color these men is again? Red and white and... We don't back them.
Warriors, Soca Warriors. We are warriors. Well again. We are the children. We are the nation of the Soca Warriors. Soca Warriors.
Hey, that's my side, boy. We celebrating with a little draw, because to tell you the truth, we in a position where just the other day we couldn't beat Bahamas and we couldn't beat French. Why?
Sing it.
Angus for president. I want them for Angus as the CMO. I'll show you that manage COVID by now. Grocery will be open. Restaurant will be open. Put Angus in charge now, man. Hey, man, all the old talk. You know we only saying that Angus undefeated right now. But you know the tide is turned fast in this country. Anytime you go there and lost against El Salvador, and then we have a bigger problem. You know. But welcome back to the Corey Shepherd podcast. This is episode 58. Thanks to everybody who's been listening. And welcome to all the new listeners. I appreciate it. I'm pretty sure we're on 58. If I have that number wrong, somebody go tell me. But I just want a little understand why it's been going through on a weekly basis. And when I get bad up here and gangster for the things I want to come and talk about, they always be happening.
I know it had plenty of things in sports that happened over this weekend, from Trinidad Soca Warriors all the way to Euro final. Don't kill the podcast this week with sports, please.
And listen, it's no escaping. This I put it up front. This is not a sports podcast, right? All right, everybody relax. This is not a sports podcast, but there are plenty of sports to talk about. So buckle up. It's gonna be an exciting ride. First and foremost, congratulations to our Soca Warriors. Congratulations to the boys. Everybody who over there, we appreciate the effort. You know, back in our side is a funny thing in sports, Dread. And especially from a little nation or, a small group of people like we have real high expectations of our sports teams. And I think we really feel that every race we in the Olympics, we go win. Every match we have in what is World Cup qualifying, in the actual World Cup and Gold Cup, even throughout the region, we believe that every time we step on the field, the side had to be it had to be about 7-8-0. We as sports fans never really satisfied. I know it's a funny thing, because we ask so much of our sports people, and we give so little to our sports people. I didn't reach government yet. I'm talking about we as fans, because I know, and you see that song I played in the beginning of the episode, salute to Maximus Dan. Because when Trinidad going and play in the stadium, and it only have about 35 fans in the whole stadium combined, it's at times there are more players on the technical team for both teams than it are fans in the stand. So we ask plenty of our sports people and give very little. But Maximus Dan is one man I could tell you I always see him. Whenever Trinidad playing in a stadium, it has some people you will see. Maximus is definitely one of them. Salute my guy Umba too. Umba, don't miss national games. My guy Damian Panther. I have a list. We don't miss national games for no reason, no matter if this side doing good or this side doing bad or what. And I sit down here and I watch our fans say all kind of thing about we before we went into the game. Because listen, the French Guyana game was close. We beat up We beat up somebody 6-1, some insignificant somebody. We beat them up 6-1 first. And I expected that with the second game we was gonna beat up somebody else too. But them fellas come into that advantage because we play a game this Saturday and had to come back and play Tuesday. Them games Saturday get called off. That's French Guyana. And they come in with their first game against we. So they look strong and they look fit and we look real tired and like we last. Our goal get disallowed there. I thought that was going to be the end of we. But we need some luck too. We hardly get... I find we don't get enough lucky breaks outside of playing good or even bad. We don't get enough lucky breaks. So I'm glad for all the little lucky breaks we get. But I'm impressed by the penalty taken at Trinidad and Tobago. That was superb. When you see we in that penalty shootout, every single person who walk up to that ball, unlike a penalty shootout that I also saw recently among enslavers, everybody who walk up to that ball look 100% confident and ready to slap home them penalties. So salute to them. And when they were walking up, I nervous. I feel like I under pressure. So I can't imagine what that is like. And every time somebody for Trinidad went up and score, the French Guyana team started to look a little bit more in doubt. And every time French Guyana score, our team look a little stronger and more confident they will score. So it went down to, I think it's 7 or 8 penalties, down to the defenders kicking, and we still come out looking like roses. We went through. Salute Frender up who make the big save in the end. But that big save, like it didn't get him a pick for the first game in the Gold Cup against Mexico. But I understand, Coach. I believe everything Angus Eve say now, Angus for president. Well, we had to talk about Haiti too, right? So I'm not sure if I want to put Angus in presidency to do in Haiti, but we will get to that. But Angus, make a call to bring back a keeper there who I ain't seen in so long. And the man come and save the game. Salute to Marvin Phillips. Salute to Redanfa Abu Bakr. Big defenders. Aubrey David come through real good in the game for we too. And it was just a nice little sight to see. Because, let me put it this way. Win, lose, or draw, I was happy with what our team came out and do. Because when you see a team, number one, fighting for the flag and fighting for the country, I could back that any day. I see Trinidad lost enough. I can't get fed up of seeing Trinidad lost. No matter how much they lost, I still back them regardless. I'd be vexed like hell. I did not expect. I was one who was saying for Mexico, if we ain't careful, we could get 10. And I say now because we will decide really unfit. Although I had to say that if I'm being honest with myself, right, I really laugh at Neville Hackshaw, right? And I make Neville Hackshaw the poster on one of my episodes that I call Soca Warriors. And I would like to apologize to Neville Hackshaw because he was one of the best players on the field over all 3 games. But more importantly, Neville Hackshaw done lost all the weight since I laugh at him, and I still fat in the streets. I don't know how his man lost weight so fast, but the man lost the weight and he looking good. He ain't 100% back to a fit player yet, but he gave everything. Well, we went out there and we fight for the flag, which was the most important thing. But I will also say that for the first time, probably since under Stephen Hart, watching the football game now, as a layman, I mean, no, not more football, and I mean, no coach or nothing like that. But I remember going in the stadium to watch Ben Hacker, and as a fan, you could clearly see what the coach trying to do. And it's been a long time since I see that. I saw it under Stephen Hart, where by watching the game, you could figure out what's the plan, how men approaching this. And same thing to an extent with Dennis Lawrence a little bit. You used to be able to see it. But it was clear what Angus tried to do. Angus really parked the bus. Angus played 5 men. The keeper, 5 men in front of him, 4 men in front of them. And everybody was coming to close down the ball if men get, because we spend most of the time in our half. And then they put more up front. Who score already in this campaign? So, when the ball blasts out or whatever it is, he will try and get it and turn and score. Going out there, starting without Molino, starting without Hackshaw. And I think they say he carried 23 men, and so far in the 3 games, he played 21 or 22 out of the 23 men or something like that. Like, it's one man who ain't get a sweat yet. Including keepers. That is something that I never seen nothing like that, where a coach changing it outright. So maybe I heard Southgate right now. But the reality is that we get a draw against Mexico. That is very, very difficult to do. It was a very unlikely result, if you ask me, based on the way the team was playing under Fenwick and how it was playing under Angus Eve, because we looked too convincing against French Guyana, and if we're being honest. But somehow that man put a game plan together. The players clearly believe in him. And they execute according to him, they execute the game plan perfectly. I don't know how we could get a ball so late up front there with Moore, where a man make a back pass. His own crowd, I think, was so loud that he didn't realize Moore sneaking. And all he had to do was turn and square it back. And I think Molino was running onto it, and that would be at 3 points. That would be one of the biggest victories in our history. Although we beat Mexico already, let's not forget that we beat them 2-1 before we went into the World Cup in 2006. But anyway, salute to them, and are eager to see what Wednesday brings when we have our second game. I think the second game is against El Salvador. I see Eve cussing and thinking about how we had to fight. We really had to fight, because we had, I think it was Curacao in the group before. And hopefully all of them recover, but they get COVID spread in the group. And now they get Guatemala side. We beat up Guatemala and things sometimes, but them fellas and them know we, and they come into fight. And I could do without a fight. I could do it playing a little small side so that we could go through easy on the last game. But I hope that we maintain that kind of composure and follow the plan, and the tactics work similarly against El Salvador, and we go in there and grab a 3 points. If we get 3 points in that next game, we're in a real nice place. If we win that, our next game, and Mexico win their next game, 2 sides in the group. Well, I suppose El Salvador, Guatemala go taking that. I think that is if is by the time you listening to that game must be done. So I'll check it out and see how it go. But I'm glad for that. I had to talk about Mexico fans a little bit though, because I would think that with all the things that people talk about, building wall and sending back Mexicans and all this kind of thing, why would you be the people to have racist chants against Trinidadian and come and put on the TTFA page a set of monkey and gorilla? And come on, son. What going on with all you? I didn't even know about this rule where you have to stop the game if you have, or there is the option to stop the game if there are racist chants. I think they say they have officials in the stadium who could make an announcement. The referee will stop the game for a while, I guess, to kill off the chants and those types of things. And they could stop it a certain amount of times. And rumor, they're saying that it could even go as far as Trinidad or the offending team could get forced to abandon the game and give up the 3 points and 3 goals to but I'm not seeing that anywhere. I saw a copy of the rules for the Gold Cup, and I'm not saying anything about giving the points to anybody. I think that is a slippery slope. That's tricky, because if that is the case, we should probably get some ticket for some people and put them in some Mexico jersey and let them say some negrito and all these things and see if we could get 3 points. It might be the best way for we to get 3 points against some sides. So, if we had to play America, put some Trinis in some Yankee jersey and let them come and cuss. You know what I mean? And hopefully we could get to stop. But I understand the need for it, and we really had to do something about that, because I can't imagine being a player and having to deal with that and hear them kind of racist chants. That ain't gonna be no easy thing when you're on a field there. And I remember when we drew 4-4 against them. Almost the last play of the game. I can't remember who was taking the corner, but boy, they was pelting all kind of thing at the man, the cussing and them kind of things. So I was glad when the cross came over and we scored to make it fall. But I think we have a fresh battle and rivalry with Mexico. It's a pity, boy. We can't even go in the World Cup to fight up against these men, imagining the World Cup is the sourest thing I ever see. But at least we're there, and our Mexico fans, all they girl act together now, man. Beyond being very, very racist at the game, only come with one set of what was looking to me like fake profiles on the TTFA post, and TTFA post, we didn't even start to celebrate the win of the game yet. Like, they just went to the last post that we made, and they just start going off on people. I understand prayers to Lozano, I think was the player name who get a major collision with Marvin Phillip at the beginning of the game, and I could understand that, but still it don't have to get that way. But it was looking like fake profiles to me, but I actually saw on Kivo TV Instagram, salute Kivo, somebody by the name of Rolando Olvera. I don't know if Kivo's respond to him. I think Kivo snapped, screenshot his Twitter, his tweet, and put it up on his page. And I don't know if it get enough traction and it reach back to the guy. But this is what Rolando Olvera had to say. He said, prayers out to Chucky Lozano after that nasty, dirty collision that was clearly a foul. I'm not surprised it was against Trinidad and Tobago. A bunch of dirty street coconut kickers. I mean, come on, why we have to be street coconut kickers? If all they win, they have nothing bad to say about me. But Kivo went on to say that Olvera is a world-class idiot. Maybe he's emotional. Maybe he really wants to apologize for his rash statements. I despise racism and ignorant minds. Football is football. In no way was Marvin Phillips' tackle intentional. I think it's true, but gratefully it reached back to my guy. And my guy sent Kivo a message, and this was what he said. He said, you are right about my post. I didn't think before I sent it, and what I said was very wrong. I was just mad and was not thinking. I have no excuse for the damage I caused, and I'm deeply sorry. But I promise you I'm not racist. I understand if I am unwanted on Twitter. I shouldn't have had one in the first place. I don't know what I mean. I'm deeply sorry to the whole Trinidad community. I appreciate that, man. Salute my guy Rolando. As a softie, I like a little apology. A man realize the of his ways, because I'm going to talk about Trinidad and Tobago fans. I'm not in any way encouraging Trinidad to go out there and start to call people, what's a racist term for Mexicans? I don't even know. Like chiquititos? I don't know why it's called like racist. Like what Americans say when they're trying to talk bad against Mexicans, like gringo. I don't know what the hell they say. But I'm not encouraging us to do that. But I want us to take a page out of Mexico book where we make it as difficult, or they make it as difficult for the team that playing against them. Now, this game playing in the States, but I mean, the States and Mexico is Texas, I think it was, so it's real Mexicans. But they come there to make it difficult for us to play. So it's like they have an extra man, because the noise is so much. When you hear Angus Eve voice, I don't know if the voice was hoarse from talking during the game, which he does a lot. And like I remember a lot of people saying Fenwick just be screaming out instructions from the sideline, and why they don't tell me before the game whatever we do. But Angus is about the same thing, because he don't ever stop shouting. Or I don't know if it's from cussing in the dressing room or batting or singing Soca Warriors song in the dressing room. But I guess the combination of all the things make Angus voice all over the place in the end. But you could see where the fans in places like Mexico and thing, they are on you. They on you. So they're not just there to support their team. They're there to make it hard for the opposition. Whereas we come in this stadium here, and we are the most welcoming, loving people. As a matter of fact, I remember sitting down in the stadium to watch Mexico play a game against Trinidad at the time. Now, Mexico have a strong traveling contingent to it, so they must see there are a couple of hundred people with them. There was a lot of people sitting down in the covered stands to Mexico. Them men come the game early and get his spot center on the touchline. Number one, how we could allow that, boy? How is I don't understand as fans how we live with ourselves with these things, because imagine it's an away game for them, but them coming and get a premium seating because they're willing to come there an hour or two before the game, while we rushing in last minute, just like Trinis. And when men come there, men exchanging beers with the Mexican and looking for a Mexico bird, we like birds. So men looking for a Mexico bird to take a wine and showing people how to wine. I said, what trouble is this I see in here, boy? Who we comes back? And then even when the stadium full, because I could guarantee you now, right? If we had a home game, no, the stadium go be full. After that 0-0 result and a little 6-1, worse again if we beat up another team here, a home game would have made the whole place full. Everybody, you can't get a ticket. For all men like me, so who don't miss a game, it's a struggle for me to get a ticket when the side doing good. Because corporate and everybody done buy out all the tickets. But anyway, when the stadium full, we still have a song like if the stadium empty, because we don't do no chant. We don't, I mean, thank God for Laventil and Point 14 rhythm section and them people who's lift the vibe of the game for us. And I feel like if TTFA or I don't know if it's what we need like a fan club. You could do that for a country like a Trinidad and Tobago fan club. Maybe that's something we could do. Because somebody needs to make sure that at least 5 or 6 rhythm section in all different parts of the stadium to make sure that at least you have that noise. But we'll sit down there and clap like if we in theater, like if we come to watch America dance or one of them things, and until a man get beat or something, we don't make noise till they score. So the point I'm making is we give very little to our sports team, but we expect so much. We expect our team who been playing so long, and then coach who now coaching for the first time, we expect them to beat up Mexico. So a bunch of memes going around showing that Angus starts with 9 defenders. We have such high expectations and give so little. I remember being in the stadium at time. I can't remember who we was playing. And whether we down or up or whatever, any covered stands. And when we get a free kick, I stand up now to watch it. You know, a man behind me. Him, sit down. If you hear this man talking to me, I say, but is your child? And I try to tell them, you're like, get up. We have a free kick. Let me get the men and them some kind of thing, make some noise. I alone shouting in the covered stand. You know this man thing into pull the firearm? Well, boy, I listen. I watch he come in, you know, when they're fighting up with their firearm, he's so fat. He trying to fight up with the firearm to get it out from under his belly. And he coming towards me, you know, but I just turn my back. I say, man, you go your way now, man. What you going to do? You're going to shoot me in the stadium in front of everybody? What you going to do? I was just waiting for him to put hands on me. But it's just to show you how we support as fans. Whereas I remember going to watch Trinidad play Jamaica in the what they call the office in Jamaica. And let me explain something, right? That is a hostile environment. To the point where when I ready to go to the game, I know real friends in Jamaica at the time, right? I know too much Trinis and thing, but I know once Trinidad playing I there, so I'm glad to go and see them play on another grounds. And I get him a little taxi driver, a little employee who working with me. All the way going down in the stadium. I's the only man in a red jersey. Yeah? All them fellas come out in the Jamaica thing. And when you walk into the stadium, it's a hostile environment for a fan. Man is like, yo, what y'all do? Because them seeing me among only Jamaicans in the jersey, and I am a Trinidad jersey. It is hostile. Men opposing you, and it's no kiki thing. Men saying, yo, you can't go in that stadium with that, you know, you see me beating all you up. It's like, boy, all kind of talk. While you're in the stadium now, I like to make noise when I back in my side. So when man get a pass, and I was like, that foul ref. Listen, hundreds of people. It's like, I was like, all right, everybody calm now. And I think we lost the game. If we didn't lose, we draw. But that is where the hostility starts to fade out. When they realize they're not losing or we lost something, then everybody could be Trini and friend and them. Same thing with the World Cup games. That game against Sweden. No, Swedish people is not very they're not hostile like what we see with some of the England fans. They're cool. But they were looking real worried and think there wasn't enough friending with we as Trinis, but it wasn't very, very aggressive towards us. And I'll say that when the game draw, we get a lot of respect from the fans in Sweden. Man want to exchange jersey and them kind of thing. When we play England was a different story. When we play England, I was in England. I was in London at the time. And listen, you see that length of time we hold England's a 0-0 draw? English fans, I say, but we'll get beat up here, boy. What is going on in these streets? If we draw this game or win this game, we could be getting some licks. And that's what I mean when I say we give very little, because we don't create any hostile environment for fans. If I remember right, it was Jason Scotland who was saying that when they go and play in some of them South America, Latin American countries, like in Costa Rica, and I believe he was talking about. He was saying that outside the hotel, they have people there chanting for the whole night. So their goal outside our hotel is really to distract the team or keep them up all night. So men finding out what hotel they're staying in and come and make sure they're making it as uncomfortable for you as they could make it all night long. I don't know if we ever had a fan who know where. Anytime we know which part the Mexican team staying, it's because we go in there to see what kind of Mexican bird they travel with, so we could pull in a little Mexican, a little foreign news. That's just our attitude towards it. I'm stop saying brother, a Mexican lady. You know what I mean? We look into pulling a roll on, roll off. So we don't really care about the team as much as we pretend to care about the team. But again, we're in a situation where we up now. I mean, it's a draw, yes, but it's a draw against the biggest side in the group, and it's the result. It's the result we'd probably take against Mexico, especially given the state of our team right now. So salute to my guys, the Soca Warriors. Only make we proud. Well, at least the diehard fans here for all you, and we will be watching the game because it's surprising to me how much people would have taken enslaver versus colonizer. Whole day, whole night, all you're hearing on Instagram is enslaver versus colonizer, and a bunch of people who didn't even watch Trinidad play, and them like, no, find out we draw. But I mean, it is what it is. So that's my side, and we going down there. And like West Indies, I could support Soca Warriors any time of day. So we're going in for the next few matches, and we're looking to win out the whole World Cup. Like you said, the expectations high one time. Now we win out everything. All right, so what do you want to do next? So we'll come back to sports. I already heard on getting gangster already, so we'll come back to sports. But what you want to do next? You want to get into some serious thing? Yeah, so I mean, you don't know the news already, right? So it's such a sad thing to wake up to a morning last week where, boy, they say President Moise was assassinated over the course of the night, sometime at 1 a.m. And boy, so much to try to figure out and unpack in that story. When I see it the first time, I say, but 1 in the morning, this man in his residence and fully clothed and watch and everything on, and you know what I mean? It's looking like a street side. I don't know if he tried to run or what it is, but I mean, so much more being said about it. Is a hard story to keep up with because one minute they're saying that it's some mostly Colombian people, and then they say they had some other doctor who's Haitian but came into the country for what they call in political motives. So he has been arrested recently as the mastermind behind this, and they're saying it political, of course. And you know, it given the conspiracy theorists so much ammunition. Because the first thing I started to see is Haiti refused the Chinese vaccine and and they didn't want no vaccine. And so they decided to get rid of the man who was fighting down the vaccine to put somebody there. And then they have to find out it's a doctor who come back and do it. I mean, I don't know if it's a medical doctor or anything, but that's what people are running with as this story. But whatever the situation is, you find that it's so much that Haiti going through as a country. And I was just talking about the racism in that Mexico game, right? One of the things that I didn't like at all when I saw that, in terms of the initial story, was when the first thing you see is Dominican Republic, which is the closest people, call them first responders, right? From an international standpoint. You know, the people who closest to you. You would think that when something like that happen, or they send troops, or they send help, or they send police, whatever we could get to try to support the people who's your neighbors. But you know what's the first report we see? They rush all their soldiers to the border to stop anybody from Haiti from coming over in this time of crisis. And I mean, it was such a disheartening thing you see. Sometimes, but we are our worst enemy in this world, yes? So the way we watch other people and look down on people. If you ever fly over, what they call it, island, Santo Domingo. If you ever fly over it and you see how, one side look barren, and the next side look bountiful. Just from up in the air, one side green and lush, the next side looking brown. You wonder how you could live so with your own neighbors, boy. But it's really due to the fact that they see people as less than themselves. So, I mean, All prayers go out to everybody involved. The violence has started to rise in Haiti, and it's such a sad situation to wake up and see. Too much behind it for me to get into the issue in full, but your heart is just reach out to Haiti, you know what I mean? So our prayers go up for them. And I mean, coincidentally, we was talking football a little while ago, right? All the people who were supporting enslaver versus colonizer, and that was the biggest game of the weekend. Anybody know how the Haiti against USA game ended up? I know if all you're following that, but you know, I mean, enslavers more important, right, than the colonizers. But Haiti put up a real good fight against USA in their Gold Cup game. So on that, I mean, Haiti side looking strong. I hope that they could get through their group and qualify too. My goal here in this Gold Cup, and I seen Jamaica beating up Suriname too. I wish Jamaica and Suriname could come out of that group. I want to finally see an all-Caribbean final. No more Mexico versus USA in the final, and that is the biggest game. That is the only big game that I know Jamaica had played in the final. I can't remember. I don't think Jamaica ever win, but they played in a final before, if I'm not mistaken. And we would have make it pretty far in a Gold Cup too. But we had our all-Caribbean final, man. Time for we to start to dominate this region as a whole. So salute to them fellas who won the Haiti team, who was able to process that news and deal with that and know that they have loved ones home who battling through this, but still pop a dangerous fight against USA, which is one of the hardest teams, or the hardest team in CONCACAF for us, certainly. I hope that they continue to progress and we could make it out of the group. It's a whole Caribbean final we're going for. All right, as we talk about them Spanish and thing in Dominican Republic, let's talk about your own local Spanish down here too now. El Pecos, that's Spanish? It sounds Spanish. Sounds Spanish to me, you know. But Pecos, during the course of the last week, them fellas get fed up like me. They fed up of the lockdown. They fed up can't make no money. Restaurant closed, staff can't get paid, money ain't coming in. So them fellas innovate, you know what I mean? Salute to everybody who figure out a way to innovate through this thing. But the people from El Pecos literally take up 2 bottles of bleach and some fabuloso from the custodian closet and put it on and make them as even, they ain't buy a shelf, you know. They take the shelf what was in the cleaner closet and they put it in the middle of El Pecos. That is innovation for your money, right? And with that same shelf, they say they are now what they say it was, a grocery? A marketplace. I don't know what they try to say it is, but the same set of bleach. There are no price on the bleach and thing. They just take out the bleach from the customer. So when El Pecos, so restaurants open back on the 19th. That's the next set of good news, right? Finally, we getting some food for takeout and thing. But when you go back at El Pecos, if all you feel that bleach go waste while you went there and you buy, it's going to be smelling higher bleach. It's no way more sanitized than El Pecos right now. Man, take the clean up bleach and pour it in the middle of the place. It's the greatest piece of innovation I see. And they pre-package all their food. And I watch a video that come out that day when they went on lockdown. Because we have a commissioner of police who like a front page story, you know. I'm using Buju as the example of that when Buju come and he couldn't come or whatsoever the thing was and Gary ended up on stage. He like a front page story. So whenever something is big news, like how it was a big thing on the news and thing with El Pecos coming out with this and everybody was waiting to see what they do, and clearly a lot of people head towards El Pecos too to get some food. Everybody fed up. They went and I counted 19 police in a video that was circulating online. And it seemed as though they had a roadblock exercise going on right outside El Pecos. And basically, it did last for one day, the innovation. It was a one-day piece of innovation. So I don't know if when restaurants open for takeout next week, if El Pecos would just leave the bleach and thing there for manners, and then bleach looking like they half empty the bottle and they may man no wait on this plastic shelf they put in the middle of the place. But I don't know if they could just give up on that piece of innovation and come out. But like I say, there's so many places who doing exactly that, right? Aeoli Market have a long line every day. Fifth Street selling food. These people who down on Rice Road, the gas station, what are the name again? St. Christopher's. They selling food too. And St. Christopher's, if all you remember, went through this same thing where the rule or the law or whatever was unclear at the time. And they had started, if I'm not mistaken, it was doubles prepackaged or bacon shack. And the police come and lock down the place, and they basically had to say, well, listen, we're not doing nothing wrong. We're not preparing any food here. We selling food takeaway, just like what's like or prepackaged, you know. So apparently there are differences between prepackaged and takeaway now. But they were able to reopen and start back doing it. But I remember in this wrongs are locked down too. They say if you are the owner of a restaurant, you can't sell through no retailer neither, because they locked down Royal Castle with that. And it's more, again, to me, it's just more evidence that it's guesswork and people trying to make up this thing as they go along. I mean, it was a pandemic and the whole thing new, but men making it up as they go along. So even when business people try to innovate, police showing up, the first thing is basically like call the police. Let the police come in, and then we go figure out if they're doing the right thing or if it's legal or not. It's such a backward way of dealing with things. And I mean, we can't talk Spanish without talking Spanish Harlem. Spanish Harlem apparently converted into a grocery too. And they say it operated much like how the Spanish Harlem was operating before, right? You could haggle price, and you could weigh out, you could choose your goods for yourself according to what is your likeness and preference, and then work out the pricing. And you apparently could consume on site too, like how they used to sell before, you know what I mean? So you had to innovate or die. If they lock down everywhere, business people had to figure out a way to survive. But seems as though the COVID cases down, the deaths down, the figures I saw for Monday. Monday is not usually the best day to judge anything, right? Because apparently testing is low on a weekend. It's Trinity, you know what I mean? Like we have somewhere to go on a weekend. But the numbers down. Usually it's low on a Monday, but I saw they say 54 on Monday. And sad to say, still 4 deaths. I can't wait till the day when we see in multiple days without people dying from COVID again. I know, boy, when we go reach that time, I'm fed up. But at least there's some progress and the numbers seem to be under control. So I salute to every citizen in the country for doing their part to make sure that we have some kind of control over this dreaded virus and we're able to operate somewhere close to some semblance of normalcy. I just find the place a little normal when I could get food to buy. I only know my plight already, right? So I need places to open so I could buy food and have a happy household again. I'm not making no joke about nobody and no peace. I appreciate everything that happens in my household, and I want to salute my household for doing a lot of cooking over the last, what feel like 2 years while we was in lockdown. I never went hungry. I'm very grateful for everything that was done for me, right? But we're going back to some semblance of normalcy, so it's not only laundry. So if you're going to take out and you make a mess in your car, you could always carry your clothes in the laundry. But I didn't see what again, I don't see what's the point of having a press conference to say that you're going to open restaurants 8 days after. So you come and tell us you're opening restaurants on the 19th, but you have another press conference to come before the 19th. So this Saturday, I suppose, is more smalls and more little talk about what's going to open and them kind of thing. But I want to see what happened with malls and regular retail and the gyms and so many different types of businesses closed still. But at least food, and I guess food restaurants would probably include street side, right? I had to assume. So the doubles and everybody opening back, and that is a welcome relief to what we've been seeing in the country before. But most importantly, the COVID cases down and the vaccines seem to be up. I am not sure what is the situation with AstraZeneca versus Johnson & Johnson. Because you all remember they had a report saying we were supposed to get 800,000 Johnson & Johnson from some African something. Well, now the thing is we're getting 800,000 or some loud number of more Sinopharm vaccines. So I guess that have a lot to do with the deal we signed. I guess some kind of loan from them, and we had to buy some Chinese goods or make some investment or whatsoever the thing was. So that's in effect, and we getting more Sinopharm vaccines. They still, every time you talk to somebody about Sinopharm now, the question is where you will be able to travel to. Well, the thing is this, right? They say in Canada, not accepting people or whatsoever. And you had to ask people, like, how when next you planning to go Canada? People talking about this like if they go Canada every week or something like that. I haven't been to Canada. Last time I went to Canada, I didn't know myself. I was small. My mother and them carried me over there. So if them fellas say they're not accepting me, I think I'm comfortable with that. I really don't have no issue with not being able to go Canada. I don't see what's the point. And I also think that if you had to go Canada and you had to get some other different vaccine, there don't seem to be no issue with that either. Just take whatever the next vaccine is and go to Canada after that. But I don't think that the the reasoning, you know what I mean? The logic behind choosing whether you get a vaccine or not should be based on where it will allow you to travel to. So, I mean, my question is this. What are you going to do? You're going to, and there's the question I'm asking myself, I'm talking to myself. What are you going to do? You're going to sit down unvaccinated until you get a vaccine that Canada allowing, or whichever country else you feeling like you want to go to after this thing done, with the no money that we've been making over the last year or so. You have this grand vacation plan. But you rather don't get no vaccine at all and run the risk again, COVID or some variant, and end up with, not me. I say, see me, whatever they give me, I taking that. And if I had to fight up to get another vaccine because a man say, I can't come in the country, but gratefully, I don't have to go nowhere to make no living. I just make my living right in Trinidad here. So if I had to choose a vacation spot and certain people don't want Sinopharm or Sinopharm, I always pronounce it wrong, whatever it is. Certain people don't want that. I could just not go there too. I could literally say I ain't get no vaccine at all. I don't have no vaccine, or they could give me a vaccine when I land, or whatsoever the case is. I ain't seeing it as that serious to where you don't get a vaccine at all. But I am confused about what happened with the African Johnson & Johnson versus the Sinopharm. Is it that the Johnson & Johnson, we forgetting that? Because I know they had some issues with some recalls and they say our thing get pushed back. But I'm trying to figure out if we get it or not, because it seems as though when you get these large, what we're going to end up with, too much vaccines in the end, where we had to redistribute it. Again, I'm happy if they'd redistribute it to any other country, Caribbean in particular, who having issues getting vaccinated or getting access to vaccines. But those seem as though we seem to have the biggest problem in the region with vaccines so far. So I'm a little unsure about that. And I hope that everybody taking the opportunity to get vaccinated so we could go back to some semblance of normalcy. What I did not expect was that the first step towards that normalcy is the effort to reopen schools in September. And I see a document float. I hope that document is not true, you know? But the document floating around that they're saying leaked from the Ministry of Education back to school plan is like what is Trinidad Soca Warriors calling this campaign is like welcome back or something like that. The road back, like they're trying to recover from their losses and basically not making it to the World Cup. It's like the Ministry of Education put out something that right along those lines. They Trinidad calling it the fight. No, there's the fight back, something like that. But apparently the Ministry of Education going along the same lines. And what they're trying to do is get schools reopened in September. And their reorganization plan includes things like anybody above 8 years old had to wear a mask for the whole day while in school. That would include my son. They haven't staggered school days. So I guess on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, he had to go this week, then Tuesday, Thursday next week. So half the classes, I suppose that is to make sure that is one child in every bench, I guess. And then they have some social distancing protocols in place. So they're not having no assembly unless it could be 6 feet apart. Head space, like your face had to be 6 feet apart. I don't know if they understand that these little children. Anyway, them teachers are real work to do if this is the case. Now, imagine a teacher done stressed out and have so much work to do already when the day come. And now you have to look lunchtime and break time to try to see who's 6 feet apart and who's standing up too close together. You know, school children like to walk and hug up one another. Anyway, they had a year to practice social distancing and all that. Beyond that, they say, the part that worried me the most, right, is that these people say, if you want to keep... So I guess when they stagger the times, the children who home had to do it online. It's not like you're home and you have a day off, right? I understand that. But they're telling me as a parent, if I don't want to send my child to school, and I say, and I keeping them in online schooling, I have a list of things to prove to the school a valid reason to not send my child. I have to prove I have a device, a Wi-Fi. What are these people talking about? What was happening over the whole last year? Who still had to prove they have a device? So all they're trying to tell me, how much children it had who was not online for the whole year last year? But apparently we have to prove that you have a device and prove that you have Wi-Fi and prove that you have the ability to learn online. Like these children already proved that over the last year. And then on top of that now, I had to be able to say why I not send. You know why I not sending my child? Miss Gatsby Dolly. Who there? Trevor. What's your name again? I forget his name. Half that. And Gatsby Dolly and these people. I not sending my child back to school because I not driving salt. I live in Shogunas and my son going to school in South and not driving down there. I ain't going down there. And then when I go down South now, I had to stay down there the whole day to wait to pick you back up again and go through traffic on a morning to drop him off and traffic on a eve. I'm not doing it. You crazy on. So I don't know what they're expecting to see as valid reasons for the children to stay home and do their online school. I congratulate him for doing good in school given the circumstances. He's doing good in the online school. He's doing good in the online extracurricular activities. He's doing good in all them things. I not sending him no day. For me to photo, I not doing that. Like why we don't use, I thought we'd use this thing as an opportunity to say, okay, there's so much that could be done online. But it looked like if Trinidad and Tobago making every effort. So the new normal to us, we're gonna abandon that for the old normal and go back to manual processes for everything. We're trying to go to school every day. Because if they go back to school in that staggered thing from September to the end of the year, what do you think gonna happen when January come? When January come, they're gonna call back all them trying to go to school every day. And I'm talking for myself. I'm not saying that every parent will or should feel the way I'm feeling, because I'm sure there are parents who glad to get their children back out to school for many different reasons, including what they outline about Wi-Fi and thing. And some, I mean, part of me just want to get their children out of the house too. But if I had to get him out of the house, he had to be able to drive. I'm not driving down the road. I'm not going down there. So every parent have different circumstances. So a better release or a better plan would have been like handle these things on a case by case basis. You know, you will have children who prefer to come back out or who need to come back out. But you'll also have parents who even, and I ain't even talking about the health part yet. From a health perspective, I'm sure they have parents who would rather keep their children at home. So why not outfit all the classrooms with the things that are necessary for them to be able to do online schools, give the teachers the devices they will need to be able to teach. You know what I mean? And I know I don't want to say these things in a vacuum, because I know that from a budgeting standpoint and everything will be an issue, but it can be an issue from an implementation standpoint, because don't tell me that we do it like how we do the press conference, where they plan out everything that they say in the press conference half hour before and then start late. It couldn't be that we now coming up with this plan. I want to think that we had a whole year plus of COVID, 2 different series of lockdowns and all that. And I would hope that planning was going on all them times to see what it is you need to outfit either the school or the teachers or both with, or identify the children that need help and them types of things. Because I remember it happening in Canada a few times, coincidentally, where they opened schools for a while and after a month or two they had to close down. And I think we're gonna go down the same road here. We're gonna open back schools when the numbers get back high again, as they will, because we open back up. The first thing they will do is close down schools again. It's like, oh, they're trying to frustrate these children and frustrate the teachers. Oh, and I forget to say again, salute and congrats to all the children who do common entrance and who do SEA. I only know what I'm talking about all. SEA and CXC and everything. Salute to them. I've seen some children out in their uniform and things. It's nice to see. But you know who not going to be in the uniform no time soon, my son? He go be home. I ain't buying no more school uniform neither. This man growing fast. Them school shirts and things getting tight. I see they sending me booklets and I'm not buying nothing. I am not buying nothing. If he need anything he need, he could do home. I don't know how all you feeling about it, but I don't like this thing where school reopen. I would hate to think that we open in September, put them teachers out to do this thing, put them children through that. And then October, November, numbers start to rise again, or Delta variants or whatsoever it is. And then they're home again to start to do exams. Let me don't waste time. And I don't see why that need to be one of the priorities when several businesses still suffering and languishing and begging to get itself back open, like retail and malls and all those types of things. How come school is so high up on the list? But that's just me. All right, well, that's me. So let me bring in get an opinion from the man himself to find out what is happening to him. So Zachary?
Yes, Daddy?
So they have an announcement going on.
Yes?
Saying that school is reopening in September. You know about this?
Yes, I know this information.
So you excited about going back out to school in September?
For only one reason, to see my friends. School work too long. Once you reach standard 2, school work is getting very long.
What do you mean school work is getting long?
I'm glad I had a fun teacher.
But that's in standard 2. In standard 1 or 2? Who was Mr. Javel? Standard 1 or 2?
Standard 2.
So you're going into standard 3 now?
Yes.
So you're aware that you have to go to school 3 days a week?
Yes, Yes, Mr. Javille said that in one of the classes.
He didn't tell you that. What he said, you have to go every day or just a few days a week?
Like 3 days a week, each person has to go like 3 days a week.
Okay, so if you had the choice to stay home and do homeschool, like online school, versus going in school 3 days a week, which one would you choose?
To be honest, probably 3 days a week.
Oh, so you good about going back to school for 3 days?
Yeah, it's only 3 days. It's not like I do in the entire week.
All right, well, bad news for you. You're going to have to drive yourself to school because I'm not driving to go south to drop you nowhere and your mother ain't driving to go nowhere. So,
What do you mean?
I'm not going back down that highway again to drop you to school.
Why?
Because I'm not. So you're going to do either 5 days a week homeschool online. And maybe you'll invite one of your friends here on a weekend or something when you can see them. Or you're going to find your own way to school every day.
Okay, I do an online school.
All right, bye. That's the most fake laugh I ever hear. Bye. Like it's clear. I should have discussed that with this man before I had such a hard on this man. So I'm excited about going back there. He says 3 days a week in. Maybe I would change that. But what had me thinking with that school thing too, and one of the reasons I'm saying like Trinidad goal is to just go back to normal. I saw an article over in BBC this week saying that the 4-day week is an overwhelming success in Iceland. So they said that the trials which workers were paid the same amount for shorter hours took place between 2015 and 2019. Productivity remained the same or improved in the majority of workplaces. That's what the researchers said. A number of other trials are now being run across the world, including in Spain and New Zealand. In Iceland, the trials run by, I ain't going to try to pronounce that, some city council, and the national government eventually included more than 2,500 workers, which amongst about 1% of Iceland's population. A range of workplaces took part, including preschools, offices, social service providers, and hospitals. Many of them moved from a 40-hour work week to 35 or 36. Researchers from a UK think tank, Autonomy, and the Association for Sustainable Democracy in Iceland said. So I was looking at that and I'm thinking to myself, like, Trinidadians, the thing about it now, right? I don't know how much we could really say we get a 5-day and 6-day work week out of people now because we tend to find ways not to work rather than ways to work harder. But what I will say is that some of the oil companies like BP and them is do this, I don't know what it's called, the thing now, 420, a 580, a 320, whatever it is, there are some numbers. But I think it means that they work 4-day work weeks 1 week and 5-day work weeks the next week. I'm probably wrong about that too, but I know that everybody in BP just has some Fridays off where them just don't have to work at all. So clearly something working there. I don't know that any of them companies have a reputation for being unproductive either here or in the other countries that they operate in. So I'm wondering if, what do you think? Like the public sector here as well as our local private sector companies, can we move to a 4-day work week? And of course, this would be different for people who are working in the like customer facing industry, like supermarkets open 7 days a week. But can we move where, because if I'm not mistaken right now, all our labor laws are set up to be based on a 40-hour work week. 8 hours a day for at least 5 days a week. Anything after that is overtime. Is there the opportunity, instead of debating in parliament who buy which car and who think, and if money lala the same cars, this one, and like maybe debate things that progressive for the rest of the population to see if we could move to labor laws that looking like they're covering 32 hours is a 4-day work week, if I count right, not 35 or 36 what they testing this. And really, let's see if that will lead us to being more we don't have the most of the long weekend in the world anyway. So forget all them long weekend and make every weekend a long weekend. It will at least help we make up for all the long weekends where we couldn't go Coral, we couldn't go Maracas, we couldn't go Toco, no Tobago, no nothing for a whole year, more or less. And see if we could forget where we gain vaccine to go and come out of this thing strong and have a hard staycation campaign with the Ministry of Tourism, who might have been extremely busy over the last year coming up with all kind of grand things for when the border reopen, and use this opportunity to say, well, instead of forcing trend back out to go 3 days a week or open back the public and private sector so that we're working every day for the whole day where people ain't more time to reflect because you're working right through to make money in this country. Maybe start considering things like this study in Iceland where we could make all Fridays off or all Mondays off or whichever day you choose. And a hard staycation campaign so that men could rent out beach houses there and get to make no money, let bacon shacks sell, you know what I mean? But I don't know, we so caught up in who think and who buy Prado and Ratty Ram buy this and this one buy that. I don't know how we get sidetracked so easy. Like I feel for media people, you know. Media people have to go there in them press conference and ask questions all the time. I feel they get paid by the question. So the talk end up being like, you see in Dr. Rowley and I think spending most of his time addressing who say they'll sing buy this car and they buy that car. We were talking about that last week. And you know what I realized in that little debate between the opposition and the government? These men clean forget that they have a population. You know? They get so caught up with one another. This is PNM and UNC. I trained Philip Alexander and all of them in that same boat. They get so caught up in the responses between one another and attack one another and make sure that they at least looking, both of them looking bad, but they want to look bad in a better way than the other guy. You know, they clean forget they have a population of people to deal with and to talk to is the strangest thing. Like, we rarely reach where we're going. I always say politicians don't care about people, but now they completely forget they have people. Because the whole thing starts to be about who buy what and who buy this. It's the same thing with Gary Griffith is as much a politician as the rest of them, but he seemed to be, instead of in the football, right? Everybody celebrating. We looking like we in a decent little place. So somebody on Facebook, as with the normal Pecos and Old Talk Trinidadians, like, they basically post that, boy, like it was Fenwick and Gary Griffith keeping me back all the time. And this man responds to that Facebook comment is, oh, I'm the one keeping him back. Glad to know that because I get visas for 4 technical people, for 4 technical staff to go there. And I transport 2 players to the airport. And I'm like, what? What are you talking about? Like, why is it that the commissioner finding himself, I always back to this point, why you had to respond to them things? Like, why you so involved? Why you care about what people say about you so much? But again, them fellas forget that they're serving people, you know. They forget that we put them there all here from police commissioner to politician, opposition, or government. Only working for we. What are y'all talking about? So the man who you're talking to, so who gave you that piece of fatigue, you're responding to somebody who responsible for the taxpayers' dollars that paying yourself. Only forgetting this all. Like only getting so caught up in all yourself. Like only see Gary video trying to act normal like if he back in England. And I like what the man said. There was way down England and all. That man basically, listen, I don't know if he had too much of friends growing up. Like he was, I wonder if like school days was rough for him. So he taking this opportunity now to be one of the cool dudes. You know, when he was on the outside of the cool squad in school, he's like, I don't know what it is, boy. But the man basically pretend falls like hell, like he's celebrating and jumping a pool. And I don't know. No real video like that for the Soca Warriors, though. I have not seen, I might be wrong at the time, up to the time of recording this, I'm not seeing any huge celebration by Gary Griffith for our local sports team. I guess he do his part already, I suppose. Yes, he done carry them in the airports and things, so he don't need to jump in no pool for that. And it was late in the night, so the pool might be cold and it might be closed too. And I'm watching closely. I want to know how much people Gary Griffith had in his house in that little lime in the backyard in the COVID times where you have restrictions for how much people could be home by you and things. But I mean, surprisingly, nobody ain't talking much about that because I see a couple people in the pool, a couple people sit down on the side, somebody was taking the video. Looked like 5 at least to me. But I mean, I could have never counted. You know, I went to school 3 days a week. But I wonder where is that support for the national? That's what I mean. You know, we somehow get caught up with the enslaver versus colonizer thing. Or the discoverer versus the slave trader. I don't know how we get so caught up in that, but let me talk about that. We done on it already, right? So England versus Italy. Salute again to Italy. All the fellas come through and only win the Euro and thing. Jokes. I ain't not vexing nobody for backing who's their favorite side and is England coming home and Forza Italia. All right, only back on the side on them. No worries by me at all. But I just have one theory about that, right? Because me ain't getting into that game, that Euro was boring like hell. Salute to Messi too, and nearly forget Messi, yes? I nearly forget Messi. Salute to Messi for winning out Copa America. Glad to see Messi win a title. It is really so sad. You remember how shell shock he sit down when they lost the World Cup final? I think it was against Germany. That man looked sad in his heart. He look, you know what I mean? So I'm glad for him he win a little title. And let me see if that will help him kick on to winning the World Cup now and going and compete there and, you know, playing at a higher level. Italy too. Italy come back from one of the worst times in their football. Like they kind of like where they hit rock bottom by not qualifying for the World Cup at all, maybe for the first time or first time in a long time. And they come back to win Euros after that. So salute to them. I'm glad for them. All they come through and things. So salute to all the colonizers and discoverers and rediscoverers and all these people. You know what I mean? Salute to all you. But I just have one theory because we were talking about the racism with Mexico, right? And you see the same thing come and happen now with England. And I have a theory about Gareth Southgate. If you know anything about Southgate, Southgate threw his own penalty back in the day that haunts him, I guess, for his whole international career. But Southgate, my eyes on you, you know, Southgate. My eyes on you. Because I don't find that you do such a great job over this tournament. The team was good and they was well organized defensively. They was hard to score on. But you have real firepower on a team that you're playing. Like if it's Trinidad playing Mexico, every game you play so. And you know what I mean? You have a man like Kane up front and Sterling and them men. But my eye is on you. Because I ain't like how you force people to come on in the last seconds of the game, right? So you done shaky and suspect already. People who didn't seem to have a hold to their faith in the tournament overall. And then the numbers, the selection of your penalty kicking. I was trying to understand like what you was thinking. And then I find like you put the black people to kick last. So if you win, you do great and it's coming home and everybody happy and forget that. But you put black people to kick last because if you lost, it go turn into a racial thing and they go say black people and monkey and they say the whole sort of thing like they've been saying over the last few days. I feel like you do that for spite Gareth Southgate. I keep in mind you. I feel you're suspect very bad. Like why you put a 19-year-old boy, man, to go and kick last? And I let me say this, right? In my I had a very short-lived football career, right? I must play up to under 16 maybe at best. I never like penalties. I find like too much of pressure. Anytime I had too much time to think to run up and kick a penalty, I would be under pressure. I don't like that. I like to play up front. I want to be striker. I really like to score. I want to score, but I'm not kicking no penalties. So that youth man, salute to him for putting himself up there as being the last penalty kicker because he had to know that before the game. If he was the man who kicked number 5, he was probably going to be the man who kicked number 5 long before the final. No matter when they went to penalty, kicks, he would have still be number 5. So you put the man last to kick. He's too young, but materia is the blackness. I feel Southgate try to find a scapegoat. So according to The Verge, social media platforms have been inundated with racist messages and posts directed at 3 black players on England's football team following a tough loss to Italy on Sunday at the UEFA Euro 2020 Championship match. The two teams played a 1-1, but Marcus Rashford, Jadon Sancho, and Bukayo Saka were among England's players to participate in the penalty shootout to decide the winner of the match in the tournament. All 3 of them missed. Rashford really looked bad. Only Man U man is the worst, but Rashford really looked bad. That was terrible. And then I say, well, all right, I'll listen to Chelsea man to wrap it up. I say, Jorginho going to slot home. He's the coolest man on earth. He and all miss. And then, boy, it come down to my guy, Sacco. The man never looked comfortable. He never looked like if he was going to score. The man looked nervous as hell. And, you know, in fairness to him, the man kicked a decent penalty. When you look back at it, penalty wasn't bad. The man hit low and hard to the right. But the keeper guessed right and the keeper make a real good save too. And I guess he could have go closer to the corner. But whatever it is, I feel Southgate tell himself I gonna put these black boys to kick last. So whatever the hell happened, I good. Nobody can say nothing. But I mean, everybody was behind him. I saw Mourinho saying, where were the senior players? Like men to step up. You know, you still had Sterling, you still had Jack Grealish, men who senior and who kick penalties before and them kind of thing, and who been to finals and win championships before, men win the Premier League and thing. It's like, why let this youth man do that? But anyway, I have my own little theory. So we'll see what happens to Southgate and them overall over the next, I don't know if he'll be fired or what he do. England, kind of like Trinidad in a little bit of a way, you know, because them men expectations real high for a team who really don't have this history that they would like to tell you that they have as being one of the winningest teams or anything like that, but the expectations are high. So I find Southgate do good to reach the finals. To be honest, Southgate reaching the final come like we drawing against Mexico. So it is what it is. I wish him the best to all the teams involved. Prayers to Sacco and them. I mean, that clap was for Italy, sorry. But prayers to Sacco and Rashford and these youths. I mean, it's so hard to go through something like that. Especially, you had to feel it for the man who's 19. Everybody else, they're a little older too. Young too, but a little older. And a little more accustomed. But you could see that was a heartbreaking thing for Sacco. So I hope he recover from that and go on to have a great career in the land of the colonizers. And to be honest with you, a part of me is always be glad when England lost. I kind of don't like them. So let me let Sparrow tell you what's the real story with them. Yes. This one is for you, Southgate. And all of the hooligans.
England was a mighty place many years gone by. Now England is a troubled place. Please don't ask me why. To quote a old Englishman whose name is Sir Jack Union, he told me in song, so sing along. London Bridge is falling down. Falling down, I say falling down. London Bridge is falling down. Falling down, I say falling down. London Bridge is falling down. In a land that used to be strong, is our woman boss in the tongue, and the next one wearing the crown. London Bridge is falling down, I say falling down. London Bridge is falling down, I say falling down. London Bridge is falling down. When I say I see nothing wrong, if a woman wearing the crown, he say, but she sister stop running wrong. London Bridge is falling down, I say falling down. London Bridge is falling down. I say falling down. London Bridge is falling down. Days of old and nights were bold, Britain ruled supreme. Songs were sung and tales were told, life was like a dream. Tough men like Truman and Hutton, Churchill and Horatio Nelson. Ever since these gallant heroes gone, London Bridge is falling down.
Falling down, I say falling down. London Bridge is falling down. Falling down, I say falling down. That's for Southgate, right? I want to say as well. I don't know how I could forget this last week, but a happy belated birthday to the bird himself, boy, Mighty Sparrow. Happy birthday to you. Glad you're with us. You know what I mean? A legend. We can play. I mean, we done nearly all the time already. You know, I'll leave with a little Sparrow before. Maybe I'll just play my own favorite Sparrow. I wonder what's my favorite Sparrow, boy. There's so much to choose from, but I'll leave all with one. But another person who celebrated their birthday this week was Valentino. 80 years old, they turned on Valentino. And article I saw by Michael Mondesi in the Express. Salute to Michael Mondesi. It said, if life is a stage, then veteran Calypsonian brother Valentino is determined to continue to give a performance for the ages. He turned 80 on Wednesday. The venerable bard says he's well aware that he's in extra time and is inspired to make full use of every encore. He said, I feel great, quote, I feel great and I give thanks to the Most High because you are allowed 10. This reading is a real problem. I feel great and I give thanks to the Most High because you're allowed 10 and I am enjoying the extra time that he has given to me. The affable Calypsonian told Kitchery during a chat this past week. That might be the hardest paragraph I ever read in my life. Born Emerald Phillip in Cherry Hill, Grenada, 1941, Valentino came to Trinidad at the age of 5. Fittingly, he arrived with his parents on a carnival Monday morning and like any other masquerader, took some time to find his section. He worked as a printer, electrician, and a mechanic before settling into a tailoring apprenticeship. He even later worked at Butler's Limited on Long Circular Road in St. James. I tell you, this St. James is a part of every story, you know. You know greatness in here. unless he make me pass through St. James. He even worked late, but calypso music was always his deeper calling. With the sobriquet Mighty Robin, he made his calypso debut in the Big Bamboo Tents on Park Street in Port of Spain in the early 60s. However, calypso legend, the late great Lord Kitchener Alwyn Roberts, returning to Trinidad in 1965 to open his own tent, renamed him Valentino. I think you already the whole article. You know. I've learned to accept life as it comes day by day with God's guidance. I realized calypso was my role and I stuck to it to this day. Despite the injustice that was done to me along the way, Kaiso has been good to me, but not the judges and the other negative elements, he continued ruefully. He was always known as the People's Calypsonian, right? He said it is true that Valentino has often been inexplicably snubbed by calypso judges. His witty wordplay and unusual melodies seem to sail over their heads, but a charming persona and resilient demeanor quickly earned him the title of the People's Calypsonian. Today, many of his works considered standards of the genre, including Life is a Stage, Stay Up Zimbabwe, This Place Nice, No Replacements, and Where Kaiso Went. And Michael Mondesi went on, you have to check this out in the Express, right? It's too long to read the whole thing. I want to read the whole thing, but I don't want to lose here. So check that out in the Express, because Valentino is, of course, one of the greats in Calypso. You know what I'm going to say, right? That he is one of the greatest Calypsos ever written. And I just want you taking a little piece of it, because it's so relevant to what we talk about Southgate suspect self, but also with our politicians here and some of the games they're playing. Like I wasn't seeing it clearly before this weekend, but I realized that these fellas only talking to one another. I was getting frustrated because I was trying to say, but they're taking the population for fools, but they completely forget it about population. They only addressing one another. So why you're taking Valentino from A Life is a Stage, the original, right?
Everybody have a part to play, like a never-ending movie with all different characters. Each one have a role to portray. Down to the scavengers and them barristers, all them doctors and lawyers, and these ministers. So this honorable this and this honorable that, and this lady so and so is a part all these people playing. I want you to know. So don't blame Dr. William anytime you find you get bad administration. That was meant to be. The fella is playing his role superbly. Now don't blame the judges for their injustice. How you go blame the hoodlums, I say, is a part. They come out to play. This movie starred in the Garden of Eden. The star and co-star was Adam and Eve. They played their part, now they are dead, but not forgotten. And when I study the role of Adam, I just have to agree. Shows man should be able and take example and see from the beginning, woman was trouble. But then your rule is according to your script, I say, and your fate would be judgment day. And according to the part that you play, the master go play. Now down to the little children, from the time they born, they join life great movie. But some of we fathers, my friend, through some wicked women, never saw our baby. Although abortion is just an act, believe me friends, I don't like that part at all. Plenty women go born when the curtain falls.
So his life is a stage, right, to Valentino. So once again, it's a happy birthday to the great Valentino. You're batting our good innings. You know what I mean? 80 and going strong. And I mean, when I say batting, right, I want to very cautiously talk about West Indies cricket. And what could get them a little, that is it. I can't get them too much of a clap. That is about that. Because I don't understand how the followers, men like Kern Hines and Kenneth Corby, could be such strong followers of West Indies, but because they got side to beat up the other day. Or maybe I understand, maybe they're showing you what it is. Or they pick a old man side, the average age of the side is 150 something years old. Or they go on there to play people, getting licks from a, you know what I mean? A team only supposed to beat handily in South Africa. And I mean, let them men come back and beat Oli when they dominate the first game. And then all of a sudden, Oli going against Australia and finding world-class performances, winning the first game in a series again. And then the second game, while I'm recording this, that game going on, and they have Australia under pressure again. So salute to West Indies. They got a small thing again. And I hope Oli continue to kick one and give it good results. You know what I mean? It's a great time for sports people, you know, but we're going into this gap here that August is always bringing, you know what I mean? Between July and August, we get salt where sports concerned, because I can't watch NBA finals. I ain't putting myself through the Suns versus whoever them playing. I can't watch that. And then when, I guess I stuck with, well, Trinidad football going to pull me through. So I guess I have some good football to watch till the finals of the Gold Cup. But with Euros done, everything finished, we in a little salt period until what we have next? Maybe CPL. When is this Premier League starting back? But we had to figure out a way to stay occupied during this time. Because, you know, as man, we like little sports is what rallying we through. But again, the good news is that we ever so much closer to the 17th. So we have 2 dates to look forward to, right? The 17th is when the borders open. That is this Saturday of this week. The borders open. So what we gonna do is immediate. Well, I can't even say immediate flying out, because to be honest with you, the flight's so damn expensive. You had to wait. And imagine, you know, I don't tell myself, when the borders open, Zachary doing homeschool, he could do that from anywhere. Mr. Javel and them know which part we is. So I said, well, we could travel during school time and just let this man stay in whatever hotel room and do homeschooling while we powder down in some hotel lobby or some resort. We pretty much powdering while he doing his schoolwork, and he go come downstairs and meet you after school. Not realizing these men talk about 3 days a week and all this other nonsense. But the borders open and the 17th seems so far, but we here, you know what I mean? We on it. So by this weekend, we flying wild. All the foreigners who getting a chance to come in, I'm happy for you. Thank God they get to come back home and stop paying bills, whichever party was paying bills. But we know all who was complaining to come home, right? That is good enough. All who was crying on TV about it come home and Rowley so wicked. You know, all only coming home for a weekend. All your wicked self. All somewhere you can't get exemption and think, all ain't coming back here for good. All they coming for 2-3 weekends, and then you go hear them start to complain more. How y'all do things in this country? I don't know how y'all do things. Licensing so slow and this place so hot. And they coming in all the tall socks and things of fresh water. The fresh waters is back. Salute to all the fresh waters who planning to come in for a few days and go back. All the exemption, all they wanted. And then we have our own, you know, them at Juneteenth in the States. Like we had Julyteenth, you know what I mean? The 19th of July is when restaurants, did they say bars are open back to? It's just restaurants or bars open back to? I guess we can't take a drink at all, but restaurants back in a gear, as they say, is curbside, takeout, and delivery only. But it's something. So I'm glad for that. I will be in front of Starbucks. What is the plan? I see people saying we're doing doubles in the morning, then our bacon shack. I wonder if Richard's open back on Mara. What happened to the beaches? Comment to think about it. Because me driving up by Richard's if I can't be in the I'm telling you outright. By the time I come here next week, we're going to be recording after restaurants open. And I'm going to eat. If Richard's open on the beach, I'm going to eat and I'm going to bathe in the beach. I'm going to take a sea bath. Mark my words. They're going to lock me up, you know. But wait, then again, I was now talking about Gary sending so much police by El Pecos. He could probably do the same thing up Maracas side. Maybe I could wait till the week after. When the thing die down and everybody get back accustomed to restaurants opening, I go in for a bacon shack and a bath somewhere in the North Coast. I go drive until I see a beach where nobody is studying that beach. You remember when I was telling Oli I went to Soca and people was bathing in Shark River and thing like normal we bathed in the river when rivers and them thing was closed. I need a little sea bath and a little bacon shack up in my butt. I'm glad for all the people who are restaurant owners, McDonald's, or they could go ahead and pause, or they add now, or they jump the gun, but you could do your whatever specials you had. We looking forward to, well, surely the doubles is on the list. Bacon shack high up on the list. For me, Royal Castle, salute to my guy Shortman who's do deliveries in Royal Castle in Edinburgh. You'll be seeing me soon. But I'm more than anything, I'm just glad not to eat home. But you know, one of the things I'm starting to pay attention to is how little by little, the only place that was open for so long, so everybody had to go by the grocery to get everything they want, even pre-cooked meals. Places like Massey and things was selling little meals you could get. And they were one of the few businesses that never closed at all, right? Keep note of that. The businesses that never closed was the banks, the groceries, and the pharmacies. Hardwares was essential, but they closed for a week or two in between and them thing. But the groceries and pharmacies and them never closed. So when anywhere you had to go to get anything, the grocery was one of the key places that you was going to get. Or you know, whether it's your alcohol, your toiletries, things that you could have buy, you would have typically buy in other places or may have bought in other places. You was only going by the grocery, which means to me, any grocery owner for the last year is supposed to be smiling. Men supposed to be counting the money when you're a grocery owner. Sales up, although it's hard times and people not making money in the way that they were making money before. The grocery is always open, but somehow the prices in the grocery start to slowly creep up on me to the point where I don't really pay attention to price when I pick up things. I have a bad habit of doing that. When I go in the grocery, I just pick up whatever, and wherever the bill comes up to, I don't know prices. Sad to say. I ain't paying enough attention to it to know exactly what price is supposed to be what. And things. Stacey always arguing with me for that. Every time I go in the grocery, I make groceries, she's like, you know how much you pay for this? And I just looking at the whole bill. If I can afford it, I buy it. But the grocery have me now watching them sideways because little by little, prices going up. I see somebody the other day put 2 blocks of cheese next to one another and showing you the difference in price, how expensive it get. Another person take 2 price smart bill, like one from last month and one from the next month, and circle some of the same items going up by, I ain't talking about no little bit of like a 2 cents here, and I'm talking about a good percentage of the price going up. So it make me start to think now, are we going to be in a state where restaurants open back up now and they're going to try to make back all the money for the times that they was closed? So a hurry to go back to restaurants and things, but something telling me that we will be paying more for a dinner special soon. Between now and Christmas, all them restaurants, mark my words, because if the grocery prices going up, it means inputs for the fast food people going up, that will be the excuse. You know they go come with that. So how much for doubles now? I pay $5 for doubles in Chaguanas here. Let me say that is the standard price. Bet your bottom dollar. Before the year out, you're going to hear doubles going up to $6 or $7 before. You know, we go live to see doubles reach $10. But I guarantee in here that with the groceries slowly but surely doing this, and them is the only place that open. So people complaining, but nobody ain't stopping going in the grocery or anything. Them food places that we want to rush to on the 19th, I want to only pay attention to what the prices is they're going to be charging in these places because I have a sneaky suspicion that every single item we're paying for in the grocery going and start to, not in the grocery, in the restaurants, they're going to start to creep up. Even before, my little favorite spot, Maria's, I always talking about them. I see them do over the whole menu and increase all the prices. And this was, if it's not before COVID, it's just when COVID hit. So wait and see what's going to happen here and see if them restaurant owners ain't going to try to make back every cent that they lose over the time. And they want to make back that before the year done. You know, he's a Christmas kind of people. And then wait and see what will happen when bars open back in this country and how much they go sell liquor and how much a beer. Wait and see what it is going to happen. But it reminds me of a song. You know, me and these songs. But again, one of the greatest Calypsonians. No, this man is not a... I don't want to downplay anything he do, right? But he have hits and he had some very, very big songs. But he's just an icon in Calypso in general. And he had a song about food prices that I think was putting it one of the best ways. So take in this. And if you don't know this voice, he ain't no Calypso at all, right? Take this in. And listen to the prices this man calling it. Yes.
A friend of mine come and tell me about 2 months ago. To to bring back the old time calypso.
Yes.
He said, well, later people keep asking everywhere why you don't bring back a old time reminder. I said, it's a good idea without a doubt, but what the hell you want me to sing about? Is then he declared, sing about the price of food and how things so dear. Okra selling $1 for 5, $1 for celery, $1 for 5. They raise currants and they raise raisin. Egg is $6 and $8 now a dozen. Edo's averaging wrong $1.10, and it's $1.25 a pound now for melon gen. A lime long time was old talk and fun, but now a lime is 95 cents for one.
You could get lime for 95 cents now.
Thank you. I said, well, partner, everything that you just said was true. Money today have no value, and if you argue, people going to say that you're funny.
Yes.
And tell you how you can't eat the money. It's true you can't push the money down your throat, but people still not getting the money's worth, and the vendors and them so fierce. They just raise the price when something gets scarce. 90 cents a bunch of wrestle. Pak choy is $2.50 a bundle. 75 cents now for potato. Some places is $6 for tomato. Callaloo bush $1.50 in tongue. And carrot selling now $5 a pound. So if you brave to still go in the market, I could tell you that you're only taking basket.
Pam 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 pam.
Now when you have to compare all them prices of food stuff,
What?
salaries today are not enough. You notice up to now I have not mentioned the grocery.
Lord.
That is more headache and a fresh set of money. Apart from that is light bill and rent to pay. God alone know how people are making out today. I could tell you then, people catching the aunt, uncle and then $3.50 now a pound for shark. Carrot is $5, that ain't no skylark. $6 for redfish, that is advantage. Some places is $5 they want for cabbage. Ripe fig 180, green fig 45. Poor people only struggling to survive. Imagine cauliflower $5 a head. So it's cheaper to buy marijuana instead.
I know about that now later. Not today. I can't cut it to know you have to listen.
Well, I'm bound to offer some solution before I conclude. Get
Yes.
a kitchen garden and plant your own food. But then again, everybody don't have their own backyard. Government must control prices in Trinidad. Subsidize farmers and increase salaries. And in a case like that, we bound to get a ease and clamp down on this racket about the scarcity of goods and the black market. A pound of garlic now is $4.15. $5 a pound now for
Christophine.
pumpkin is $4.50 if you please. And in the shell is $6 for pigeon peas. 14 ounces of saltfish is $3.69.
Wow.
It's like pushing the umbrella up from behind.
Hold on.
Chicken is $10 and $1.50 to pluck. So it's cheaper to buy feed and raise your own cock.
Yeah, well, all right, later. That's what we did. But yeah, just look out for it, right? Because, hey, it come in. And we don't know the country getting hard and thing already, yeah, but the prices of food in the restaurant, we will start to see it, but we're going to revisit it. We'll see what happens after. We have your own little Julyteenth, so thank God things opening, and we getting things to go. Anyway, let me check with Sparrow, legend, before we get out of here. And I have a Sparrow. I decided not to play my favorite Sparrow. I think my favorite Sparrow, if I had to decide on one, would have probably been maybe Lying Excuses. Just because of the writing behind it, boy. Like how he was able to tell a whole story for a song with some nice little chords and a nice melody and chord structure and everything in there, and a whole story about Lying Excuses and things. So maybe that would have been my favorite song, but I want to play a Sparrow and get feedback from all you in terms of if all you know this one or not. It's not the most popular Sparrow song, but it's a sweet one to play, and it's one I enjoy. Like one of the things. Remember my guy Scratch, boy, rest in peace. This is one we used to play when you see when you're paranging and you go by people, right? One of the big things is to play a song to leave. So when you're playing a leaving song, we used to have some selections that we play. Like let me see, what control. We play songs like It's crying time again. We're gonna leave you. I can see that far away look in your eyes. I can tell by the way you hold me, darling, that it won't be long before it's crying time. Ay, ay, ay. Vaya con Dios, mi amor. Ay, ay, ay. Vaya con Dios, mi amor. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Vaya con Dios, mi amor. Vaya con Dios, mi amor. We used to play like little songs like that now. Same place, but another time. Like sing like that now. So you need a little song to leave people with. And this was one me and Scratch used to do that. I know plenty people never hear a Sparrow song, right? But where you take it in, it's not the most popular, but it's a real nice little leaving song that we used to do from time to time. Here was Sparrow to say, happy birthday to the Birdman. Yes?
The Yankees came and went and broke the heart of my kid sister Millicent.
Oh, Lord.
The Yankee man came and went, he broke the heart of my kid sister Millicent. I paid no heed to what she spoke of, not knowing she was so much in love. When he tells she goodbye, she kneels down and starts to cry. Now don't go, Joe, don't go. You wouldn't know, but I love you so. And when you're gone, I can't go on without you. So Joe, please Joe, don't go. Decent guy, Millie Doo-doo, darling, don't cry. Wiping her tears away, baby, listen what I have to say. You know we had to part someday, because I got my wife in the USA. But all the talk was in vain, Millie started crying again. Don't go, Joe, don't go. You wouldn't know, but I love you so. And when you're gone, I can't go on without you. So Joe, please don't go. Let's see, mama. Yes. You know Yankee love their sport. Every soldier got a girl in a different court. You could imagine how I surprised to see tears in the soldiers' eyes. Soldiers and sailors don't cry, so I know the girl getting mama guy. Instead of looking for cash, so stupid, she tells the Yankee hush. Don't go, Joe, don't go. You wouldn't know, but I love you so. And when you're gone, I can't go on without you.
So Joe, please Joe, don't go. Yeah, that's just a nice little one. I don't know if you know it or you ever heard it before, but I'll say I was going to leave you with that, but let me leave you with a different one, right? Because all these damn songs. So let me leave you with one that, I don't even know if you know this one. Come into some of the feedback I get, I never really sure what songs all you know and what you know. But as I talk about people who following enslavers and colonizers, they have a song. I mean, we also talk about school reopening. This song kind of reminds me a lot about this episode. So I want to leave you with this song instead. And I ain't sure if all you know it, but Sparrow was basically using this song to say that we still, in them times he's talking about, and we still doing that up to now because we still pushing this idea of an English education down the throat. And you know what I mean? Even with the football, there seems to be this big thing about getting this scholarship in England and Ireland and these white people places where we are supposed to be having something superior happening there with Bad Wolf and the boys of Fenwick and them, like if that doing something. When in fact, the coaches, when we have a local coach, we seem to be doing better than everybody else. The local coaches is the one who, I saw them write an article this week saying that We only get out of the group stages in the Gold Cup under local coaches. Never had a foreign coach take us there yet. So again, salute to my guy Angus Eve, and I'm just glad to see him in charge. And the man firing up the troops, you know what I mean? In war mode. And it just reminds me of this song too with Sparrow, and again, happy belated to him, where he was talking about us taking the same English education and trying to teach children these things in this day and age. So you're supposed to know it, right?
Captain, there's a traitor on board. Examine the horns. According to the education you get when you're small, you will grow up with true ambition and respect from one and all. But in my days in school, they teach me like a fool. The things they teach me, I should be a block-headed mule. They tell me pussy has finished his work long ago, and now he resting and ting. Yes. Solomon Gandhi was born on a Monday, the ass in the lion's skin. Winking, blinking, and nod, sail off in a wooden sloop. The goody Lucy tail and the alligator fighting to make monkey liver soup. And Dan is the man in the van. The poems and the lessons they write and send from England impress me. They were trying to cultivate comedians. Comic books made more sense. You know it is fictitious without pretense. Cartridge wanted to keep us in ignorance. Listen to business. Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty didn't fall. Goosey, goosey gander. Where shall I wander? Ding dong dell. Pussy in a well. R-I-K-K-I-T-I-K-K-I-T-I-V-I Ricky-tiki-tiki-tiki-tavi. Dan is the man in the van. I said Cartridge was plenty times more advanced than them scientists. I am believed that no one man could write so much stupidness. Aeroplanes didn't come so soon. Scientists used to make the grading balloon. Cartridge make a cow jump over the moon. And then he tell them, Tom, Tom, the piper's son, thief a pig and away he ran. Once there was a woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children, she didn't know what to do. Dickory, a dickory, duck. The mouse ran up the clock. The lion and the mouse, a woman pushing a cow to eat grass on top of a house. Mama Dan is the man in the van. Let's see, Mama. How I happen to get some education, my friends, me and no. All they teach me is about bear, rabbit, and rumpelstiltskin. They wanted to keep me down indeed. They tried their best but didn't succeed. You see, my head was down to see and up to now I can't read. Who cares about Peter? Peter was a pumpkin eater. Some little people tie Gulliver. When I was sick and lay abed, I had 2 pillows at my head. The goose laid the golden egg. The spider catch a fly. Morocco with wings flapping in the sky. They beat me like a dog to learn that in school. If my head was right, I would have be a damn fool. With Dan is the man in the van. Can a pig dance a jig for a fig? Twirly and twisty were 2 screws. Mr. Mike goes to school on a bike.
And Dan is the man in the van. So yeah, happy birthday to the great mighty Sparrow. And I think that's it for me. We done reach our 140 minutes out of here. See the 2 hour thing it ain't working. So goodbye. I will see you all next week. Enjoy the Food Monday. We go talk then.